Wow. I actually got to the top. I've had this lactobacillus sitting around for 2 weeks now. It's been 100 degrees in the last week in our Glendale, and it's just baking and just getting bad and worse, and it's no good. So I was like, why don't I actually utilize this and try and make a quick sour out of it? It's just sitting around anyway. So what I did here is I made a 0.75 gallon starter, basically, with just dried malt extract. The recipe for this was 14 ounces of dried malt extract to 0.75 gallons of water, boiled for 15 minutes, and got me to a gravity of 1050. I did not hop it. I did not get it to a pH of 4.5 first. This is a commercial strain. I'm not too worried about that. I will purge the headspace of CO2 after I pour that in. But other than that, it should be good to go. The ambient temperature is so hot right now, this thing should be soured without having to worry about heating it up in like 2-3 days. So that's the idea on paper, at least. And if it turns out horrible, I still have a culture of the lactobacillus that's going. And yeah, that's the worst case scenario. So unless it turns to some other weird off flavors, then I'll evaluate them. So I cooled this down to 100 degrees. And yeah, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So as I was pouring this just now, I got a whiff of like solventy smell, which is a sign of oxidation. Oxygen can get in, and then from there, with sour beer and lactic acid and stuff, it can create solventy flavors sometimes. There might have been too much headspace in there with the yeast sitting there for a couple weeks. Worst case scenario, I dump it. It costs me almost nothing to make and no time to make. It took me 15 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna purge the headspace of CO2 and in 3 days give a taste test. Gonna take a pH reading of the quick sour here. Let it go about a week, almost exactly a week I want to say. And I meant to check it sooner, but I went out of town and I got busy, and here I am. So let's see what the pH is at. So before I do the big reveal, it was about 100 degrees when I first put this in, or the high 90s, and it stayed that way for about 3 days. My very hot garage. And it's cooled off to about the mid to high 80s now in the last 3 or 4 days. So either way, it's been very hot. I did not have to put this near a heater, no heat blanket, nothing. Just let it sit in the ambient temperature. So this is the results. That's awesome. I was hoping that it would get somewhere close to that. That's about the sour pH range I like for my taste. So I don't know what to do with this yet. I'm gonna let it sit for another day or two while I think about what to do. I do have some of my grapes left over from my Tempranillo wine that I did. I might throw some grapes into this just to see for fun. This is an awesome little experiment. It took me 15 minutes to brew this, and looks like I'm gonna have a little under a gallon of beer. So awesome. I'm gonna throw some of my Tempranillo grapes that I had saved. I froze for about 2-3 weeks. I think about 3 weeks or so. And yeah, I'm gonna put them into about a half a gallon, maybe a little less. Is gonna get some. I think about 8 ounces or so per half gallon would be okay. I'm probably gonna treat this like a berry or like a raspberry, so I probably could do less. That'd be half of a pound per half gallon would be a pound per gallon. So I'm not gonna quite go that big. I'll probably get it like whatever this is, which looks like it's gonna be about 4 to 5 ounces or so worth of grapes. All right, so this is 4 ounces. So sweet, 4 ounces of grapes. So I'm going to transfer half of this into a 1 gallon jug and then add these. That's not going to be very many bottles, but that's alright though. It's extra beer I made in 15 minutes anyway, so it's just free at this point. I really want to get oxygen out of this as much as possible. Okay, I'm good with that. That's about 30 seconds each. Gonna let this go for another like 3 or 4 days or so, the regular one. And if the gravity stabilized, I'll probably bottle it. It's been about 2 weeks as is, maybe or really close to it. It's only lactobacillus in there. There's no other strain, as far as I understand it, as fall, unless something else wild got in there, but I didn't put anything else in there aside from lactobacillus. This we'll see. There might be some re-fermentation with the grape skins. The grape skins might have something on it, even though they've been frozen for like 3 weeks now. I don't know. So this will be a fun one. It's be interesting to see what this gets to. So yeah, check in with you guys in with this one or both. This has been on the Tempranillo grapes for about a week and a half. I'm coming up on 2 weeks now. Gonna bottle the regular one first, transfer this back into here, and then gonna cold crash it and let any of the fruit particles sink to the bottom, and then bottle this one in probably like 3 or 4 days from now. I figured I'd get about a quarter gallon out of this. That's what my priming sugar was, which for the record was half a cup, and I did 0.15 ounces of corn sugar. Cooled it down to room temp. And because there's no actual yeast in this, it's all just lactobacillus, I want to help it in carbonating, so I rehydrated some champagne yeast, and that should help give a little bit of some food to eat, because there's not really much in here, I'd imagine. I decided to put it into here instead. It just made more sense than go into a gallon. Just put it into a growler. Gonna cold crash this, like I said, for about 3 or 4 days, and bottle from there. And I will taste this, the Tempranillo one and my regular one, in about a week and a half from now. So stay tuned for the tasting on that. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And yeah, get out there and make beer with DME.